What's up YouTube, and a huge welcome back to my channel. I am so glad to be with you guys today. Today is the 1st of July and I was thinking, what do I discuss with my audience? And I decided, why not discuss the lessons that I have learned in 2024 so far? Because I think this is a discussion that you might find useful yourself. And hopefully if you can relate to any one of these, you can throw in a like in the video, give me a comment if there's anything else you want me to discuss on this channel, and I will explain it and discuss it in the best way possible. Guys, I'm just starting this, so be kind and nice to me, okay? All right, going into my top lessons from 2024 so far. So 2024 has been kind of not really different from last year, but like every year that like I'm getting older, there's a lot of things that I learn. There's a lot of people that I get to meet, and across the course of time, these people shape how you are as a person, and these people can influence your life and your decisions. So the first lesson that I learned this year is learn and master the art of self-control. Now, generally, as people, we will face times and situations that will test us. People that will test your anger, people who will provoke you, people who generally just want to do what they want to do, and they feel that they will capitalize on the fact that maybe you are not really a reactive person, or they feel that they know that you're not going to do anything about it, or they know that they have nothing to lose. And generally, you are going to face times and situations like that. I have personally. There are people who you would meet in work, and there are people that generally you just meet in your everyday life at school, at college, and everything. And these people are going to test you. You know, they would do things to provoke you. They would say things that they know that you don't like, but you have to be calm. And that's what I've learned. Sometimes it seems as if maybe you're a foolish person. You know, you're not responding to their actions against you. And it's just better. Like, it just saves you the stress of overthinking things, of overreacting based on what you feel. And what I've tried to do is, like, I've weighed two situations before in my thinking, in my head, because a lot of stuff goes on in my head. Trust me, a lot of stuff. You know, sometimes I really have to cool it down, because I know that when you're in a certain place at a certain time, there's a time for everything. There's time to focus on your work, there's time to focus on school stuff, there's time to focus on your personal life, and you just have to allocate that time for the right reasons at a particular point in time. So there's times I've been in a situation where someone will provoke me, say, make a senseless comment, either unintentionally or intentionally. Now, generally, when it's like unintentionally, it's not a thing that happens repetitively. But when you see someone does something once, twice, three times, you definitely know that they want to test you and see how you would respond. And what you can do in this situation is sometimes you just sit and then you think to yourself. You could take like a short break, like a short toilet break for 5 minutes, and you think to yourself, if you were to respond in two different ways to the same situation, which one would yield better results? There's times I've thought to myself, oh, do I act this way to this person? Or, oh, do I calmly just ignore? You know, like, just ignore. And I will stand on my right. You know I have to stand on my right. I have to defend myself. But I do it in such a way that it doesn't backfire at me. You know, I want to make sure that I am in control of my surroundings. I am in control of what is of external influences towards me, because at the end of the day, I want to go home and be able to have a good sleep, to be able to have a good rest, and not let the activities of the day, of what I went through at school or work, to influence, my day, because there's a lot more better things to do. I want to be able to sit at home and eat my dinner and, watch a funny movie or something. So, especially if you are on a journey to self-development, you want to move through your life and not leave like a trail of like very bad occurrences, that has happened before, because people could use things against you. You want to be, you want to have a good reputation with people. You want to be a person that people will remember and think that, oh, this girl was like, or this guy was like really a disciplined person, or this person, was like a good contribution to our organization. And that is just that, you really want to send a good image about yourself. You want to sell yourself, good to the public. Now, going into my second lesson that I've learned this year, it is okay to be sensibly vulnerable. Now, notice I said the word sensibly vulnerable there, because there are people in your life you need to be vulnerable with. Some of them are going to be family members. When you're going through a lot of stuff, it doesn't have to be something that they can physically resolve for you, but you need to put yourself in a situation where you can have an interaction, with someone about what is going on in your life, and that that person is not going to judge you for it, or that person is not going to use it against you. And you trust these people to advise you in a positive manner, to be able to help you to better your life, to better yourself. And they're going to be confidential about the information it is that you give to them, if the information is supposed to be confidential, because there are things that if someone confides in you that they did something like really terrible, that maybe impacted the life of another person, then I think it is reasonable, except you're a lawyer, who has had an agreement with someone that I am not going to disclose this in any way. But if you feel that it's an issue that should be talked about to another person, then by all means do that. So aside from being a person that is sensibly vulnerable, you also have to be a person that keeps information that should be confidential, because you want to be a trustworthy person. You don't want to be a person that people tell you information and they're like, I need you to keep this private from me. I'm telling you because I want to de-stress about this. And you don't want to be the megaphone who goes around and like tells everyone people's secrets. It's not really a good habit, and it's not something that you want to be known for as an individual. You want to be a person that is trustworthy with the information that people give to you. So my third lesson is, not everyone is going to like you, no matter how nice and kind you are. So this is just a fact in life. Like, there are people who you would do really good things for, and there are people who you would respect. There are people who you would appreciate. There are people who you're going to treat nicely, and they're not going to like you. No matter how nice and kind you portray yourself to be, no matter how you come across to people as you're not a threat to them, you're not going to harm them in any way, you're actually on their side, there are people who are just not going to like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the sooner you accept that, the better. And that is just life. Some of these people do not necessarily not like you because of, there's people who would generally not like people because of the stuff that they have, material stuff. But there are people that it's not because of material stuff. They generally just not like you because they don't like you. Maybe they perceive you as a threat, and it's not because you necessarily have anything. I don't know how it works. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe people who are like that will be able to explain it better. But with my encounters and people that I've met in my life, so many people, they're just people who will just not like you. Maybe because you come from a different place, maybe because they don't exactly look like you, or maybe because, maybe you have something that maybe they want. I don't know how to explain it, but they're just people who are just not gonna like you. And you have to accept that and come to terms with that, because that is just how life is. You can't force everyone to like you. But you shouldn't lose who you are as a person because of this behavior from people. If you're a nice and kind person, continue being a nice and kind person. If you are a respectable person, continue being a respectable person. Respect people. Respecting people is very, very important, because if you respect people, people are going to respect you back, and it's not everyone who is going to like you, and that's fine. That is just fine. Like, it's totally fine. Just move on with life. Friendships get broken all the time, relationships get broken all the time, even some of the tightest relationships that have existed on earth. So you're not going to be the first that people don't like. And even if people hate you, you can't change them. You're just going to come into terms with the fact that you cannot change people. The only person you can change is yourself. And that is just life. So going into my next lesson, do not be afraid of getting things wrong. So one fear that I'm a person, I usually tell people that I like to take calculated risks, just because I do not like to waste resources. So generally, I don't want to be, I'm a person that doesn't want to be in a situation where I waste my time and resources on something and then it doesn't work. But I've come to understand that in life, basically, to get to any point that you are, it's just going to be one reality that, as a person, you're going to have to deal with. There are times when you're going to invest time and resources into something and it's just not going to work. And you just have to be fine with that, It's the process of learning. I do programming, and I've gotten to learn that you need to try and you need to try and you need to try again in order to get things right. And that's just how it is. And even when you are an expert in something, there are times when you are going to get it wrong. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Obviously, whatever you can do to minimize a negative outcome of something, do what you can to do that, But you have to accept the fact that you are going to invest resources sometimes into things, into friendships, into relationships, into work, and it's just not going to yield what you thought. The richest business people in the world, they go through that all the time, and that is entirely fine. That is just life. So in order to improve yourself as a person, there are certain realities you're gonna have to come into terms with. And I'm not saying you should take bullshit from people. I'm not saying that you should be docile all the time, but you need to act with a lot of thinking in your head. You need to be very, very realistic with certain things. You need to be realistic with certain people. And you're just going to have to accept that the only person and the only thing that you have total control over is yourself, and you're going to have to maximize the fact that you have that control in order to improve your life, in order to make yourself a better person. So friends, with that said, we have now come to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please throw your suggestions in the comment section. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, throw it in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. And until then, friends, have a nice day and I'll see you again.